Hey, I'm Scott at ediblemusic.com. I want to show you how to use the Klevgrand Korvpressor. This is a plugin that you might already have in your cupboard, and if you're having some trouble getting a handle on how to use compression and how compression influences the sounds that you're working on, then the interface of the Korvpressor can provide a relatively intuitive way of approaching compression compared with all of the dials and stuff and that you might be seeing on some of your other compressors. The way that it works is you have these three central sections here. There's an input adjuster and a squeeze, which otherwise functions like a threshold would. Then you also have an output so that you can match the gain that's coming in. And you can see in the display there that it's showing you how the waveform changes as you're applying compression. Now, this squeeze section will function like a threshold, and that means that it will also be influenced by the attack ratio and release settings. Now, this is where I think it becomes more intuitive because unlike being unsure of where exactly you should set your attack and release settings, you just have three options here. You have fast, medium, and slow. And similarly with the ratio, you have a high, medium, and low settings. You also have a look ahead, so if the compressor is not really grabbing the sound as much as possible, you could turn the look ahead on. This is especially useful if you're working with the Korvpressor on your master track. And the maximize and brick wall settings I'll come back to, but you've also got some tonal adjustments that you can make. So if you're compressing, and here I've just got the Korvpressor on the master track, you could adjust the bass if it's missing some bass or the mids. And these are pretty gentle EQ curves. So the way that it works is it would go into the compressor, it would squeeze it, you could adjust your tone, and then the maximizer will raise the volume, sort of like how a makeup gain would. Here, if maximize is on, then the amount that it will raise the volume after compression will be automated. If it's off, then you can manually set your makeup gain. I'll just leave that on for now. And then in this little corner over here, so apart from the compressor itself, and then you've got your tonal adjustments that you can make, you have a limiter at the very end of it that would clip the sound at 0 decibels so that it won't go over that. So if I were to turn the output, we're just looking at that output meter here. If I were to raise it all the way up, see that it's not allowing it to go over 0, which is really important, of course, when we're working with digital audio, because if it goes over 0, it's going to have some wild sort of distortion, and that doesn't sound good. Now let's explore how these settings can be managed on a particular instrument. Let's choose drums for now. I'll just raise the input a little bit. And we'll bring the squeeze down and the output just to match. So we'll bring the squeeze down. And as I adjust the attack settings, listen to these hi-hats and whether they sound more forward or more backwards. The difference is pretty noticeable, right? Especially between the fast and the slow settings. On the fast setting, the compressor is moving quickly enough or squeezing quickly enough that it's pulling down that sharp transient energy when the hi-hat is being hit. If it's slower, then the compression is allowing those transients to come through. And of course, since we're compressing the entire drum kit, that extends to the hits on all of the kit as well. And you can feel a little bit how the release is acting too. If we have a fast release, versus a slow release, that sounds like the tail of the sounds, where the attack was influencing the very beginning of a sound. The release will influence the longer sustained part of the sound, or the resonant part of the sound. A slow release will keep that part of the sound tucked down, whereas a fast release will squeeze but then let go again and allow those parts to come up. So if you have a roomy drum set like this, then it'll allow that to really come through, whereas a slow release will really lock things down. And that can be useful to emphasize your transients. So if we have a slow attack and a slow release, but you can also adjust the mix knob. So here at 0, this is how our drums are sounding. And you could just bring in the mix to taste. So let's say if we have our full mix in, and you want to bring up some of that detail that you hear in the hi-hats, you could bring it up just enough so that it helps out the drums that way. And again, you could adjust the tone too. So if we adjust the treble, then we're also influencing largely those hi-hats and the cymbals. Pretty nice. Now let's hear it on vocals as well. We'll bring the squeeze down. Pretty good and quick to set up as well. When you just have fewer controls like this, sometimes it makes things much more easier on your process because you don't have to worry about the decimal points that you're choosing. You just choose fast, medium, or slow. Find a spot that sounds right in the squeeze section so that the threshold of the compressor is responding to the sound the way that you would like it to. And I'm always fiddling with this output here because I want to make sure that the meters are pretty close to the same. Otherwise, it's just going to make things sound louder and it's going to trick us into thinking that, oh, that sounds much better. But the compressor is actively impacting the sound. So you want to be able to hear what the attack and release settings and so on are actually doing to provide that impact. Now that's the Korvpressor on just a couple of elements. Let's come back to it on the master track and we'll see if we can get this mix sounding really nice. I like a slower attack and a faster release on the master, as well as a lower ratio. And right now, because our output is lower than 0, the brick wall limiter isn't really doing anything. But if we raise the output, you can add some sort of gentler compression on the master track, and then you have the opportunity to make some slight little tonal adjustments. You also have the option of compressing a lot on the master track. Raise the input way up and we'll do a super squeeze. And when you hear that chorus come back in, you'll really notice the effect that the compressor is having on the sound. Pretty wild, right? But what you can do is also to adjust the mix setting. So that this very compressed sound is kind of sitting underneath the more open sounds and more uncompressed sounds that are coming through. That can be a really useful way to approach compression in general on your master track. And it's not working so hard, which is also especially useful if you're using the Korvpressor on your master track. So if you've got the Korvpressor, try it out.